Hello and welcome, I'm Oles Garjuk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. A growing number of Ukrainian musicians are looking towards Europe and America for new audience. Today we'll discuss the rise in popularity of Ukrainian performers, songwriters and producers. Joining us in our studio to expand on this topic is artist Eminic, founder, managing partner, songwriter in 2220 Entertainment Group. Hello and thank you for joining us today.
Hello and thank you for having me here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio. I know that we're going to be discussing Ukrainian performers, Ukrainian celebrities, although I do know that your roots are not from Ukraine. Originally, you're from Bosnia, but you're currently residing in Los Angeles. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about the world trends and Western taste and how does it actually reflect on Ukrainian music if we're speaking about popular music, right? So I have been observing that Ukrainians do not really know, they are not really aware that their artists, their idols, speaking of the Ukrainian ones, what audiences do these artists reach? For example, I didn't know that the band Onuka is loved in Japan. I didn't know that the newly released single of Jamala, Sala, that you have connection to the production process of this song also, but we will discuss this later, is number 6 in the UK, right? It's hitting the charts. So could you tell us whom have you been familiar with before coming to Ukraine? What artists have you been familiar with before coming to Ukraine, and whom could you outline?
Well, one artist that I, before coming to Ukraine, the reason I came to Ukraine was of the Eurovision.
Back in 2000?
Back in 2017, yes. I wrote a song for Slavko Kalazic, Space, for the country Montenegro. And that's where my love with Ukraine and that's where the story began. Prior to that, I was familiar with Max Barskin. Barskin, thank you for that.
No problem.
He was, in all of his songs, he had a world appeal and he was a showman. And that kind of visualization in his music videos, and then he had a specific appeal, and that's what kind of draw me to him as a fan and maybe admire somebody who perhaps one day would want to work with him.
Mm-hmm. This is very interesting. So you kind of felt some kind of Western waves into in these artists performing, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a bit more how to get on this wave maybe, or how to follow this kind of Western trend? What is important about it? How to outline what is needed in order to reach the international audience? Well,
if you wanna go internationally with your art, with your music and whatnot, it's very important in most cases to have a partner that's already across the board, that can, once you enter the market, that knows the formula, that can shape you, lead you, and guide you. Just kind of going blindly is really no success. However, there have been songs from different parts of the world that cross over internationally just because they had the it factor. It was a perfect timing, it was a perfectly written song, and at that time there was a gap in the market, and that's why I was able to go through.
Mm-hmm. So it's, as far as I understand, it's kind of a mixture of a lottery and sometimes some pattern, some trend that is being popular at some certain time.
And obviously, you're giving something interesting and specific that catches the ear of the audience.
The performer has to be a personality, an interesting personality to observe. If we're speaking about Jamala, you have been working with her, right, on this new single Solo. Could you tell us, did you get to know her after she won the 2016 Eurovision Song Contest, and maybe because of this? How did you start your cooperation? How did you build it?
Well, I spotted Jamala because of the Eurovision. Her performance was just something. It had an it factor that we always talk about in our industry, the it factor. She had some appeal that she draw the whole Europe to herself, and then she draw me along the way.
And she wrote the lyrics to that song.
She did write the lyrics. She is a wonderful artist as a perfect package put together. So, and I have deep admiration and respect for her writing and her persona and who she basically is. So that itself was enough to kind of draw myself to her. And then my partner Brian Todd, who I work with, he is an American, but he started his career in Stockholm as an artist and then as a writer and whatnot. So he's familiar with European artists, and I draw him into a picture, and I said, you have to listen to Jamala, and we have to do something with her, because I believe that she is one person who will, at that time, I said, we'll cross the borders, and therefore we have a proven fact that she has done that. So, and that's where our kind of story began.
But does this mean that Jamala is now working with the international Universal label, or this is not the thing, and we're talking only about the production of the single song called Solo?
We started with the song called Solo. It had a success, won the UK charts. It is premiering today, by the way, her music video for the Solo. So we are continuing with the promotion, and stay tuned. You will see some surprises coming up in the upcoming months.
Mm-hmm. So do you plan on continuing this cooperation with Jamala?
Yes.
Yes, great. Maybe there are some other connections with Ukrainian artists, or not yet? Maybe something planned? Maybe.
We are here, and we are in the process of establishing those formalities at the moment. One of the artists I really have to kind of one of the artists that kind of I spotted who really has some appeal to his music and his persona, and is Cachet. I had a chance to meet him last time I was here. It was one of his shows, and he's a great showman as well. So nothing concrete there, but as far as right now, we are tied to Jamala, and Jamala is our girl.
Well, this is flattering to hear that Jamala is succeeding not only in Ukraine but also in other countries, and especially this was surprising for me to hear that she is #6, her song is #6 in the United Kingdom. Wishing her best of luck, and to you too.
Thank you.
I do know that you have been working with different countries, different performers, mainly from Europe and the United States, right? And this is your third time in Ukraine after this 2017 Eurovision Song Contest. What kind of environment have you noticed around Ukrainian musicians? Maybe it feels something different than in LA. I believe it should feel something different, somehow different.
Well, show business is show business, and when you meet an artist, everybody's specific in their own way. I can't really say that there has been a lot difference in terms of that I can spot specifically, but passionate people, driven people, people who want to succeed, people who want to get ahead, and who want to showcase their talent. I think if you meet an artist from Ukraine or somebody coming up in the United States, somebody from Japan, I think when you're an artist, you have this globally, you have this inner drive, and therefore, when you meet somebody like that, it just showcases all over the place.
Well, thank you for that. I want to say, I don't know, do you know about this, since you're not residing in Ukraine, but our music industry is kind of going through some transformation. And actually, this transformation is happening because of the legislation that keeps changing into promotion of Ukrainian language as a state language, as the language of culture and stuff. So basically, this motivates artists to perform and to write songs in Ukrainian, because we know that before the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the show business was kind of united. Moscow and Ukraine was kind of united into this massive song production and movie production, and all this show business was existing and cooperating. And now there is some kind of division, of course, and then Ukraine is building its policy on promoting the state language. What is your take on this, on motivating the artist to switch to a different language, which is a state language, and what role of English as an international language do you see in the song production?
Well, here's the thing. I think for every single country, Ukraine included, it's very important that you have your identity, that you have your language, and that artists are encouraged to write and record in your native tongue. That should be number one, and that should be nurtured, encouraged, and preserved. So in that retrospect, that's great. However, if one wants an appeal of the world audience and to play on a world stage among the best, the song needs to be in English.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a formula that it needs to be in English. So doing both, I think it's encouraged for anybody, and that way you just have if you do both, you have an opportunity to reach the wider audience. You have a stability at home, and you have an opportunity across the board.
Excellent answer. And the very last thing to focus on, because we ran out of time, I know that you consulted various agencies to fight how to fight music pirating and to build stability within the music industry. Mainly, this activity was happening in the Balkan region, right? Ukraine is in the top list of the countries who perform pirating very actively, actually. What could you recommend?
You know, that is something that's ongoing, and I don't think that there is one specific answer for something like that. I think supporting local, on a state level, legislations, and I would be number one thing, but then
so
again,
legislation should control this, basically.
Legislation should control this. It's a simple factor that I always tell people. You cannot walk into a store and just take a loaf of bread and walk away and say, well, this is mine. So why should you be able to do that with music?
Yeah.
You know, artists put a lot of time, passion, and themselves into it. They should be they should be compensated for their efforts. And only then, when you do that, you have economic stability to grow as a country and as an industry in general. So that's very important.
Well, I do hope that our audience will learn this message. Thank you so much for being a guest today in our studio, and thank you for your interesting answers.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much again.
That was Eminic, founder and managing partner, songwriter, and 2220 Entertainment Group. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Alice Gerjuk. Goodbye.